Ooh, let's do it. Let's talk about pride. Pride is one of those sneaky things that has definitely mastered the art of being subtle and underlying to the person experiencing it, but also blatantly obvious to an outside observer. So I actually struggled with this for a long time, having pride and having too much pride specifically. So first off, I want to put in a good word for pride and say having a healthy sense of pride is absolutely a key factor in being successful in anything that you do and just overall enjoying your life. What comes with healthy pride is having a sense of confidence, having a sense of trust in yourself, walking into a room and knowing that you belong there, having a sense of healthy pride in the work that you do or the service that you give to others, knowing that you do make a difference, you do matter, and you do have care and integrity and quality in what you do. Having a healthy sense of pride also means knowing when to be humble. This is a big one because humility and humbleness is truly the antidote to having overactive pride, shall we say. Knowing how to be patient, how to be humble, how to be respectful, and how to not see others above yourself, but also not look at others beneath yourself. This is truly a key to having a healthy sense of pride. Now, let me talk more about the juicy stuff about pride, the struggles, and some of the more negative tendencies of this. Struggling with pride can be a tricky thing because you don't always know that's what it is, and it's not always blatantly obvious in your mind for how you go about doing certain things in life. And let me clarify what I mean by that is if you have unhealthy pride, this could stop you from going for certain jobs, let's say, because one, you might struggle with feeling imposter syndrome. You might feel like you are not good enough, you are not qualified enough, you are not respectable enough, whatever it may be, that you are not enough to get this thing and be deserving of it. There's also the other end of that spectrum where you think you are the best, you think you are too good for something, and maybe you won't go for that same job because you think it's beneath you and you think that you can do much better than that. But then you also aren't really going for or achieving anything at a higher level because deep down underneath that overconfidence that comes with that negative pride is actually a feeling of inadequacy. You think you're too good for something, yet you won't go for something better. Same thing in relationships too. You may go for the kind of person who comes across really flashy or really confident or really boisterous on the outside, yet underneath that person might have a lot of insecurities about themselves, and they might be also seeking somebody who comes across very flashy in order to appear as someone with more status or somebody that's just fun and confident and has all these things and is really magnetic and attracts all these things. Yet the key thing here is they're looking for someone on the outside to appear as these things when underneath the surface there's actually a complete lack of security in who they are, and with that comes a lot of jealousy, comparison, judgment, and insecurities in other ways. I've struggled with this a lot. I've noticed this in the last year or so with the kinds of relationships that I would attract into my life. Not so much work or friendships or even family, but mostly romantic relationships. I noticed that there was a certain kind of person that I would attract, and it's not like I was attracting bad people per se, but there was definitely a severe lack of confidence in the person that I was attracting, and I couldn't figure out why. I was attracting somebody like this because what I saw when I was attracting somebody or when I was going after somebody was somebody who was confident and secure in themselves and walked into a room as if they would own it. But once I got in a relationship with someone like that, over time I started to notice a deep amount of insecurities that came with that person. They really cared a lot about what I thought about them. They always wanted to look really nice, and they especially wanted to go out and be seen in public with me because they thought that I would bring a sense of status to them, being seen with me in the world. Needless to say, this definitely would lead to a lot of demise down the road because naturally I started to feel objectified. I started to feel like this person only was using me for clout, or this person just wanted to feel special in my shadow or in the glow that I gave off. They just wanted to shine next to me, and it became obvious that they didn't feel that kind of sense of confidence in themselves, so they were trying to piggyback off of my confidence. Of course, I still struggled with my own shortcomings as well. However, being secure in who I am is something that I'm thankful has come fairly easily to me in a lot of ways. I definitely have struggled with insecurities, but I've always at the end of the day been totally okay with who I am and secure with my abilities and the way I move about the world and the way I adapt to the world around me and just who I am. I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with being by myself. I love my own thoughts and feelings. I'm floored with the amount of ways that I express and create in this world. So overall, I'd say I'm a fairly secure person in who I am. Another way that this has translated into my life and how I've helped to combat a lot of this negative pride is through sharing a lot of work that I do on YouTube. One thing that I do in particular, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a certified online yoga teacher, and I share yoga classes on my YouTube channel that people can enjoy from their homes and do yoga and workout and meditations in the comfort of your own living room. I help to teach you these skills, and I help you to deepen your connection within yourself and to the world around you. And one of the things that I am known for on my channel is doing beach yoga videos. Now, why is this important? Well, in these beach yoga videos, these happen to be some of my most popular videos, and part of the reason is because I do yoga in a bikini. And this creates a lot of polarizing opinions in people, because on one end of the spectrum, you have people that look at my video and think, wow, she's incredibly prideful. She's going out in the world in very skimpy clothing and filming herself and revealing this not only in the actual world on the beach, but on the internet too. This person must be so self-obsessed. This person is just revealing so much. They must be incredibly insecure. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have people that see confidence. Wow, this person is incredibly confident. They're fearless. They're doing something that requires a lot of bravery and strength. They're doing something that is quite scary to do. And to that, I have to say, I choose to do this kind of yoga for more of the latter reason. I did struggle with a lot of shame, embarrassment, shyness, and insecurity in my life. I often felt this projected on me from when I was a very small person in this world. I did grow up religious. In the religion that I grew up in, we were taught to cover our bodies a lot. We were taught to cover our shoulders, our thighs, our midriff, our chest, basically everything except the lower half of your limbs. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with modesty, and I'm not fighting against people's reasonings for wanting to cover up more. However, I felt a strong sense of push and oppression, and this translated in me as a young, sensitive person to be shameful of my body, to cover up, to conceal, to try to hide, and to try to be small. So as I got older and I entered the world and I started having my own life and forming my own beliefs and doing my own research and exploring and figuring out who I was and how I wanted to be in this world. After I went on my long health journey and I found yoga and I became passionate about it and became a certified teacher, around the same time I was also going to the beach a lot and tanning and swimming in the ocean and just really immersing myself at the beach. It's a place where I found a lot of healing, and that's when I started creating these beach yoga videos. And yes, they get a lot of views for obvious reasons. People want to see a half-naked person doing yoga on the beach. I know that not everybody who watches my videos actually does the yoga class with me, and that's okay. That's out of my control, that's out of my hands, and it's something that I just have to be acceptant of, because not everybody's going to utilize my videos the way I intended them to be utilized. However, doing the beach yoga, and I've been meaning to talk about this for a while actually, but doing the beach yoga for me personally is a form of liberation. It was a form of liberation from being extremely shy and embarrassed and shameful of my body. The more of myself that I exposed to the sunlight in the daytime and even to random people passing by as I would film these classes, the more I stepped into that feeling of discomfort, that feeling of fear, and the more I just showcased my physical self, my physical abilities, doing these yoga postures, and also practiced energetically opening my heart, opening my mind to what was possible, the more confident I actually became. Sharing my yoga practice and also sharing it in this particular way that I do has actually helped to heal and liberate myself in many ways. So yes, while there are side effects that do seem like they're attention grabby or maybe not very humble or confident, for me personally, as the creator of this content, I can say that this has been a very healing thing for me, and I will continue to do so. In fact, I actually have a new beach yoga class that I'm going to be releasing on my channel very soon. It's beautiful, I'm so proud of it, and I know you're going to receive so much benefit from this class. So going back to the whole pride thing and how this ties more into pride, there are many people that would have been held back by their pride for doing something like what I just described. They'd be held back thinking, oh, I could never do that. That's just too much. I just don't want that kind of judgment on me. And because of that, it would hold them back from actually experiencing something that could be quite liberating and actually create a lot of humility through the process. Sometimes we have to teeter a little back and forth on the scale before we find that true center and that balance and that peace. I've learned now in my career, in my business, to continue to lean into fear and lean into discomfort, at least to experiment, because the worst that could happen is I decide I don't like it and I pull back and I don't do that. But usually what ends up happening is I continue to push a little bit more and a little bit more, and sometimes I reroute and sometimes I redirect. However, expansion is the goal. And the more I step into my fear, the more I heal and recover from past wounds and trauma that had left me feeling shameful and embarrassed with who I am and how I appear in this world. Another thing that I've healed a lot with understanding and confronting my pride is that I should be cautiously aware of people that come across very charismatic and people that come across very flashy. They may seem very shiny on the surface and can be quick to attract somebody. And the problem with that is once you get entrenched and once you get entangled with someone like that, that's when you really start to see their shadows that they were hiding from you the whole time. And me personally, I'm not somebody that shies away from that. I'm not someone that shies away from people's shadows or insecurities. In fact, I actually really embrace those things about all the people in my life. I understand that we're all in different places. I understand we all struggle with different things, and that is perfectly healthy and acceptable. I'm okay with the imperfections and insecurities of people. The problem really arises, though, when the other person is rejecting and denying those parts of themselves, and then we can't progress in a relationship because that person is so overcome with their own pride. They don't want to accept that they maybe have a problem, or they have an insecurity, they have an embarrassment, or they have shame, or they even have guilt over certain things. I recognize how many people reject these parts of themselves, but then in turn they end up rejecting the very person who wants to embrace and accept these parts of them with them. Pride can be incredibly tricky to navigate, and it can be very destructive. However, I encourage you to take my advice and lean into the pride, lean into the fear, embrace your insecurities, and really look beneath the surface a little bit deeper. Somebody that comes across incredibly confident on the outside may be struggling underneath, and be prepared to nurture that, be prepared to embrace that, and to be empathetic and kind towards that part of that person. It can be helpful to do this with other people, but I highly encourage you to look within yourself first and really look in the mirror and confront yourself and think, is my pride holding me back from things in my life? Is my pride holding me back from my purpose, from my mission, from the work that I want to do, from the people that I want to be with? Is my pride holding me back? And if so, approach yourself with humility, embrace where you're at, and continue to move forward. I hope this video gave you some more perspective into pride, and I hope this gave you some confidence to confront this within yourself or within your relationships, wherever you notice this cropping up in your life. Also, shameless self-promo, you can find my merch on my website. This is my Mad Creative Yoga merch. That is my online business. You can also find me on Instagram. I'll put it on the screen here. I have a couple of them. And if you are interested in helping to improve all these different areas of your life, becoming more confident, stronger, more adaptable, more flexible, more open-minded, more at peace, healthier, more nurtured, more prosperous and abundant, I can totally help you with this. I have 2 programs available that I have created. I have the 6-week Positive Habit Challenge, and I also have the Self-Care Starter Pack. These are both amazing programs that I've created, if I do say so myself. This one here is a yoga-based program, but there's also meditations, workouts, journal prompts, tutorials, and more. And then over here, I have created many videos that are all dedicated to self-care and self-love. And I teach you a lot of tips, techniques, and skills in order to help you create more health and well-being in your daily life. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to check out my programs on my website. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Remember to stay grounded, my friends.